So Practical Boat Owner is here at the start of the 2024 Vendee Globe and really excited to be on board Medallia and with her skipper Pip Hare. Pip, you bought Medallia, this generation of Medallia, quite a few years ago, and you've made changes to her, including increasing the foil length. Did you manage to get the other changes you wanted to, like the changes to the keel you wanted to do, replace the keel bearings and a new suit of sails?
Yes, we did. It has been a really rocky year for us, having lost two sponsors at the beginning of the year. It was a real fight, and we went back to crowdfunding. We were still searching for sponsors till the very last, but we managed to do all of the things that we needed to be competitive this year, and that's just through the belief, the kindness, the generosity of so many people.
Were you surprised at that reaction by so many?
I really was, yes. Yeah, I really was. For a number of reasons. Kind of one is that I felt quite vulnerable because, unlike some of the teams around us, we're a team that always invests all the money we have into the boat, the project and the team. We don't exist to make profit, we exist to deliver a fantastic sailing programme, which means kind of cash flow is quite difficult to manage, and we were expecting to have this sponsorship money in, and all of a sudden it didn't come, and I felt very vulnerable and open to criticism, maybe having not managed things so well. But yeah, it was a really fantastic response, and now it's just given me kind of an extra drive to really make the most of everything that we have here, because it's incredible.
So this boat used to be obviously Bound Populaire and what has been the fastest boat to complete a Vendee, obviously winning it with Alma in 2016. Are you hopeful that with these extra modifications you'll be up there?
And I really am. I think we've had about 6 months now to prove the boat, and I had to learn again to race on the big foils because it is very different. We changed our sail plan. Some of my sails are actually quite new, so I've had to learn about those, what the crossovers are, how to use them. But we raced the New York Vendee, which was my last race of qualification, and finished 9th, having played in the top 10 for the whole race. And this boat on paper is 17th in this fleet according to its age and its design, and top 10 was where we really wanted to be. And so that final race just kind of endorsed all the efforts, all the hard pushing, all the incredible work from my team, and I think it's really showed what we're capable of.
And you mentioned about getting used to the new bigger foils, the new sails. How has that improved the performance of the boat?
It is night and day. Big foils versus little foils, it's just not the same game. And then we needed to change the sails to reflect the different performance characteristics, because with the big foils you're going so much faster. My top speed is just under 38 knots. I can cruise quite comfortably in the 20s, cruising in the 20s, and that means that the apparent wind is much further forward, which means you need flatter sails. So everything that I knew about sailing I kind of had to relearn and work on, but this is not the same boat. It's flipping fantastic.
And where do you want to place? What's your aim?
We're really looking for a top 10 finish. I feel like that my team have put the work in to prepare a boat that's worthy of a top 10 finish. I've been working quite hard on kind of my own skills and strategy. I've been working on my fitness. We know the kind of race the Vendee is. Everyone is going to have problems. It's about keeping on top of the problems. It's about maintaining a good average pace, not the highest speeds, just a good average pace. It's about keeping your head and managing the unknown. So yeah, I really hope for a top 10.
Your background for managing the unknown, you do have that. In the last Vendee, race. You had all kinds of problems that you had to fix. You were on a much older boat, and yet you were still in the top 20 when you came in. You were your first Brit back. You were the second, I think, woman back. So you have those skills. So I guess you'll be transposing what you learnt then to now.
There are elements definitely that come with me, and a confidence that I've overcome problems before. But I also know this race is going to be so completely different. You know, having been through the Southern Ocean once does not make me an expert. And yeah, we overcame a lot of problems last time, but I also know we're going to have a whole different set of problems this time. And we can't imagine what this race is going to look like. But also, the competition is unbelievable. You know, the races that I've done in the last couple of years, the finishes have been split by minutes, seconds, 66 seconds. The next boat was ahead of me in the route to run after an Atlantic. You know, we're in sight of each other a lot more. You can see how the other boats are performing. When you're neck and neck like that with someone who is, you know, you're both doing over 20 knots and you make a mistake and slow down, they're across the horizon before you've even blinked. But that applies to everyone. There's a tension, there's a pressure, there's an excitement. It's an absolute honour to be in a race of this magnitude and this fleet now. But it's not going to be anything like my last race.
And how have you approached this race mentally for you, and obviously with the boat?
So kind of coming into over the whole race period, I've had really tight objectives. I've needed to manage them well. So year one objective was set up the team. 2022 was learn to race on small foils. 2023 was the big infrastructure change. So boat and refit, big foils, and then kind of just almost sea trials for the end of 2023, learning big foils. And then this year was all about refinement, refining me, refining the boat, refining the sails, trying to find the performance that our investment is worthy of. And now kind of in these final stages, you know, we've come here. Initially we were still working really hard, still working, and then at some point you just have to draw a line under it. You have to just breathe, be calm. You have to say we've worked, we've done the best that we could, we've reached our objectives, we have done a good job. Everyone has played their part. They've given me the tools. Now we draw a line under that. We focus on the horizon and we play our cards.
What does success look like for you in this race?
I've always had the philosophy that success cannot just be based on one thing, especially in a race like the Vendee, because I don't know if I'm going to finish. There are unknowns out there. There are unknowns that we know we can't overcome, like dismasting. We can't overcome that. So, you know, obviously I have a performance objective, which is to be in the top 10, but kind of the other success objectives, I think, definitely for the whole team. We want to finish the race regardless of whether I'm not able to perform or not. We want to finish the race. We want to share a good story. We want to engage people. We want them to understand what it's like on board and just kind of feel the race with us. And for me personally, I'm 50 years old. I'm at the top of my sporting career. I have an opportunity that I never imagined would come my way, and I just want to finish this race knowing that I have absolutely maximised every single opportunity to perform and feel like I left nothing on the table.
How hard is it to manage kind of expectation? Because obviously you did so well last time. I imagine people are expecting an almost... I can hear the children. Obviously last time you did so well and exceeded a kind of expectation. So how do you kind of manage that yourself personally?
It is difficult because people view you in a different way. You know, last time nobody knew who I was, nobody expected anything from me. I mean, I knew what I wanted, and that hasn't changed. The way I feel about myself hasn't changed. I guess I just need to just keep being very kind of inwards reflecting on it. I feel responsibility, an enormous responsibility. The last thing I want to do is let anybody down, anybody who's invested in me, anybody who has helped, anybody who's supported. I don't want to let them down, and I feel that. But I guess I just need to remember that inside I'm exactly the same person I was last time. I am more experienced, I'm more knowledgeable. Just got to go out and do it.
I guess it's almost a bit of a double-edged sword. Having done it before, is that better than not having done it?
Yeah, it's better. It's better. This is different. This is a progression. I don't want it to be the same. I want this to be a progression. You know, we went from an old boat cobbled together, we made it good in the end, and I raced a good race. We now have a professional team based in the UK. You know, this is a different level. We've entered a different phase, and you know, I guess I understand that you know that's the way it should be. So,
how important was it for you to be based in the UK as opposed to basing yourself in France, like so many others have done?
It was important. I mean, it wasn't a straightforward decision, because I do want to perform. I want this to be about performance. This is my sport. I want to be the best I can, and there's no question that taking my project to France, immersing it in amongst all of these people and all of this expertise, sharing infrastructure, sharing knowledge, that would have accelerated our programme. But you know, it's been a difficult path for me to get to the Vendee, because we don't have the mentors in the UK, we don't have the support, we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have a pathway to get there. And yet we are the nation that started solo sailing. You know, we have so many talented people within the UK who are, you know, technicians, people who run logistics, race management, sailors. You know, sailors are only a tiny part of it. We have so much talent in the UK. There's no reason why we can't kind of grow that culture again and be proud of it. But there has to be a starting point. And so for me to keep my team in the UK is to invite people to be a part of it, to tell them they have some ownership, they belong, they're welcome to talk to us about it, but also maybe to inspire others to create campaigns in the UK, and maybe we can start something.
How many days food have you budgeted for?
I'm taking 85 days of food.
Okay. So what would be your optimum to get home by?
I would love to do sub 80. I'd love to, but it's about the weather.
Obviously weather patterns are changing. The Ocean Globe race and the Golden Globe race both found out that, you know, weather that was supposed to be there wasn't. Do you think that's a factor for you, or not at all, given how fast the boats go?
So 100% it is a factor in that, you know, the weather is everything. But, you know, as with any race, you know, what's different with us from the Ocean Globe race, the Golden Globe race, is, you know, we have excellent, you know, satellite technology. We can see, you know, we can see all sorts of things. The boats do go very fast, which means that we can position ourselves in relation to, you know, weather systems. And it's all about managing what you've got instead of hoping for what should be there. But yeah, I mean, even initially looking at it now, it looks like the trade winds aren't going to be as established as we thought, which means it'll be a slower passage down. You know, I think the big question around that is whether the record will be broken, because the record is just over 74 days and it's held by this boat. And the record was set in 2016, and that record was not beaten in the last edition for the first time ever. And so the global weather patterns kind of affect us less with racing because we race with what we have. But I do think they could have an impact on whether the record could be broken or not.
Back for 2028?
I definitely won't say no.
Pip Hare, thank you very much.